Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, what shall we do? We'll wait for some more minutes as usual. Okay. There are some more students. Okay. What shall we do? Shall we start? Yes. What's your opinion? Should we wait for some more minutes? Normally we are having nearly 15 students. Now there are 10 students. Okay, we'll summarize what we were doing last time when we met. We started learning language acquisition and learning. Okay, so under that we studied what is language acquisition and what is language learning. Language acquisition is an unconscious process. That's how we learned it. And then we learned something about critical period. So linguists, they believe that there is an ideal time for people to learn. That means when children are in small age, it's very convenient for them to learn. Okay, then we discuss about holistic approach. That means when children learn a language, that is a type of holistic approach. That means they understand every part of the language at once. They learn letters, sounds, speaking, listening, everything together. Holistic approach. And then we came to language learning. Language learning is different from language acquisition. So language acquisition is an unconscious process, but language learning is a conscious process. I'm just showing you what we did. Just see. Okay, focus on specific skills. Can you remember when we acquire a language, it is a holistic approach. That means think about how we acquire our mother tongue. So we acquired everything together. Listening, speaking, writing, everything together. But when we are learning a language, we focus on specific skills. It's not a holistic approach. I'm just reminding you, last time we discussed them in detail. If you have a question, you can ask, okay? Is it clear to you that language acquisition is a holistic approach? Language learning is focusing on specific skills. Tell me whether it is clear to you. Yes, tell me. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then finally we discuss the differences between language acquisition and language learning. So you can remember, language acquisition is an unconscious process. We don't know that language is acquired. Language learning is a conscious process. And for language acquisition, there is an ideal period called critical period. But for language learning, it's not like that. A language can be learned at any age. Okay, when it comes to approach, language acquisition is coming under holistic approach. Language learning is focusing on specific skills. Okay, this is what we did. Okay, today we are going to start from this point onwards. Okay, just read.
Okay, madam.
Right. Okay, we'll understand the interplay between acquisition and learning. Interplay means interrelationship. Language acquisition and learning can complement each other. So, language acquisition may help language learning, and language learning may help language acquisition. Exposure to a language through immersion can create foundation for later formal learning. So that's very simple. So exposure to another language may turn towards learning that language later. Okay, it happens sometimes accidentally. We are getting a type of exposure to a language, and because of that exposure, we start learning that language. Conversely, structured language learning can enhance understanding and fluency. So sometimes when we learn certain language, we can later, after learning the language, we can reach a level just like acquiring that language. So we'll see the examples, then you can understand it very clearly. A child growing up in a bilingual household naturally acquires both languages through everyday interactions. Okay, so if a child is growing up in a bilingual household, that means within the household activities, two languages are used. Okay, so they will get a nice exposure to these languages. An adult taking a Spanish class to learn grammar rules and vocabulary for travel is engaged in language learning. Okay, so language learning is done with different purposes actually. We'll just ignore Spanish. Just imagine you are planning to go to Korea. So you have to learn Korean language. And you are planning to do your higher studies in Japan. So you have to learn Japanese language. Okay, so we'll move. Here we can see both language learning and acquisition. They are different and both are equally important. So as students, as teachers, we need to have a very good understanding about the differences between language learning and acquisition. I hope you are having it. So out of these two, language acquisition and language learning, I want to tell you language acquisition is used even for second language learning. Because acquisition, we know it's an unconscious procedure. But in the field of linguistics, even for second language learning, we use L2 acquisition. Okay, did you get the point? So then we know there are two different actions like language acquisition and learning. But in the field of linguistic languages, these two terms are used synonymously. Synonymously means Instead of learning, acquisition is used. Instead of acquisition, learning is used. Okay, here we are talking about second language learning or else second language acquisition. You just see. Okay, so in this slide, you can get to know when we think about second language learning. If you are a teacher teaching English language to students, you can understand this. Some students, they pick up English language, second language effortlessly, while other students are struggling to learn English. Okay, so there are differences. So then all the second language learners are not learning the second language at equal level. Some will learn the second language very quickly, while others will struggle for that. So why is that? So there is a question. Why some students are learning English language very easily, but some other students, they are struggling. Why? The reason is there are certain factors which affect L2 learning or L2 acquisition. We'll see what they are. Okay, see, age. Just see. So here you can see one of the factors which affect L2 learning is age. So age is a very important, significant factor. Okay, before this also we have studied about critical period hypothesis. So accordingly, according to CPH, critical period hypothesis, there is a limited time frame during childhood. There is a limited time frame when language acquisition is most effective. Okay, so there is an ideal time in childhood which is very good for language acquisition, very effective for language acquisition. I told you about the story of Jenny last time. Okay, so she was a girl who was locked by her father. And when she was discovered, actually, she was nearly 14 years old. So as a result of keeping her away from people, she could not communicate. She could not talk, actually. So even though later people tried to teach her language, it was a failure. Okay, that is why people say there is an ideal time in childhood when children can learn learn languages very easily. Okay, children was adults. Okay, so then children, when they learn a second language, they can easily have native-like pronunciation. But adults who are learning a second language as adults, they cannot go to that level. That means small kids learn a second language very easily than an adult. So that is due to the brain plasticity. So that means children's brain is more flexible. And when people grow up, so that flexibility will not be there more. That flexibility will stop. So that is why adults cannot learn a foreign language just like small kids. We'll go to the next one. One is age, rate of learning. Okay, so we were telling that it's very easy for children to learn a foreign language, second language than adults, because children's brain is very flexible than adults' brain. But here, rate of learning, when we think about it, so when just imagine there is a small child and an adult. So both of them are starting learning a foreign language on the same day. At the initial stage, at the initial stage, the adult may be very talentedly learning the language because the adult has developed cognitive abilities and adults' memory is very good and adults' problem solving skills are very high. But the advantage of being an adult doesn't always lead to greater long-term success. Maybe at the initial level, better than the small child, the adult is learning. But in long term, it does not stay. Okay, even though child start learning a second language very slowly, in long term, the child can have the success. Are they clear to you? If you have a doubt, you can put a message or else you can ask. Okay. Another factor which affect L2 learning is motivation. So we discuss one fact, that is age. Other one is motivation. Okay, you just read. What is this message? August 12th, what did we discuss? Yeah, give me 1 minute while you read. 12th August, I think we discuss remember that. Which one did we do? The same thing which we are doing now, I think. Is that so? What is the, oh, pragmatics? Is it pragmatics? Tell me the name, tell me what we did. No, not this one. I missed the slide also. I was searching for it. Language, what is it? Language acquisition. Okay, let me share the proper slide. Okay, you have put what it is. Let me check it. What is that? You are absent. That is why. Okay. Otherwise, I shared all the one. Hari, okay, I will share. So then the same thing I am doing now, Hari. Okay. Okay. We'll understand. So we discussed age as a factor which affects second language acquisition or second language learning. The other one is motivation. So in motivation is something that is very, very needed for anything that we do. So that is same regarding second language learning also. So the students' motivation varies. And all the students are not having the same level of motivation. There may be students who are highly motivated, who are motivated at average level, who are motivated at low level. And there may be students who are not motivated at all. Okay, there are different types of motivation. Integrative motivation. What is that? Okay, integrative motivation means The person who is learning a second language has a genuine interest to learn the culture and community of the target language speakers. Okay, so I don't think we have this integrative motivation. So some people learn foreign language because they are very much interested in the culture and the community of the target language. For an example, here it is mentioned, an individual learning French because they love French cinema, music, and hope to live in France one day. Okay, so this particular person, he loves French cinema a lot and also French music. And one day he hopes to live in France. So he studies French language. That is an example for integrative motivation. And some people, they love to go and study in India. So they learn Hindi language. That is one example. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. Instrumental motivation. Okay. Instrumental motivation means so then somebody will learn a foreign language or a second language with a specific purpose. So here we'll see the example. A student learning Spanish to fulfill college requirement or an employee learning Mandarin to get promotion at work. So then in Sri Lanka also the government servants are given an additional amount when they pass in Tamil language. Tamils may be Sinhalese language. Okay, because that is a part compulsory fulfillment of their job. Okay, that is a type of instrumental motivation. But remember, out of these two motivations, integral motivation or integrative motivation, this one, and instrumental motivation, out of these two, integrative motivation is very useful because what is learned and the integrative motivation will long last. Okay, so because of your interest, you are learning a second language and you will be having a very good memory on it. and you will not forget it. But if you learn a language because of outside factors, just like for promotion, for salary increment, your language knowledge will not be there for a long time. And most of the government servant in Sri Lanka, they go to Tamil classes and they sit for the exam and they pass. But they cannot talk and write, listen in Tamil. Okay. Integrative motivation is long term, but instrumental motivation is not like that. Okay, there is another factor which affect language, second language learning, that is aptitude. So now we discuss three: age, motivation. Third one is aptitude. Okay, just see what it is. Okay, we'll see what aptitude is. So then, this is a very common term that we all have heard, but understand what is the meaning of aptitude properly. Aptitude means a person's innate talent or capacity of learning a language. Okay, that is something that we get by birth. Okay, so there are certain things that we get by birth. So all are not having, some are having. So there are some people who get an inborn talent or capacity for learning languages. And it's very nice actually. If you are a person with an aptitude, that's really nice actually. Okay. So aptitude is distinct from, it's very clearly different from intelligence and can predict how quickly and easily an individual will learn L2. So you may know, you may have heard, there are some very small kids. They are having marvelous abilities in English language. So their pronunciation is very nice. They can announce. So even in preschool. So they are having inborn talent or capacity to learn a language. Okay, see, just see, then I'll explain. Okay, we'll see. So these are some key components of language aptitude. Phonemic coding ability. That means ability to identify and remember new sounds. So some students, they have this actually. So when they hear a new sound, they can remember it very well. At the same time, there are students, even though they hear a new sound again and again, they will not remember. And then grammatical sensitivity. So some students, they have an inborn talent to recognize the function of a word in a sentence. That's one example. So some students are very clever in grammar. Inductive language learning ability. So that means ability to infer. Infer means identify, get grammatical rules from examples. When examples are given, they can easily recognize the grammatical rule. So that is called actually inductive approach. It's something big. And then rote learning ability. The skill of memorizing new vocabulary. Some students can remember new vocabulary very nicely. So they are language aptitude, inborn language talents. Okay, we discussed now 3 factors: age, motivation, aptitude. The fourth one is learning environment. Okay, just see. Okay. Learning environment also plays an important role in learners' success in learning a second language. So there are different environments, formal and natural. So language classroom is an example for formal environment. So in this formal environment, grammar instructions are given by the teacher. And then natural environment is actually living in a country where the language is spoken. So as a Sri Lankan, for us, English language is the second language. But just imagine you get the chance to live in UK, Australia, Canada. So you are getting a natural setting for second language learning. Okay, when you get a natural environment, you can have abundance of comprehensible input. You are getting lots of opportunities to use the second language. And you will get natural communication with people there. But in a classroom, we don't get actually. We are getting artificial communication opportunities. Next one. Input, interaction, social and cultural context. Okay, we'll understand. So can you remember what we are talking? So we are talking about learning environment as a factor which affect second language learning. Formal and natural settings are there, we got to know. And then input and interactions. So that means when we are having a natural environment to learn a second language, the quality and quantity of comprehensible input is very important. That means when we have a natural environment to learn the second language, the quality and quantity of our understanding will be very high. So because in the natural environment, we get opportunity for meaningful interactions. So we all know in the class, when teacher is giving us opportunities, it looks very artificial. A teacher will say, okay, child, you have to be the seller, you have to be the buyer. You are the doctor, you are the patient. So it looks very artificial. But when we are having a natural environment, so we get opportunity for meaningful interaction. And then social and cultural context. So then there are some societies which value multilingualism. That means they encourage people to learn more languages. So if you are living in such an environment, you are lucky because you have chance to learn many languages. And at the same time, there are some communities which do not encourage learning other languages. Can you give me an example? So there are some countries which do not encourage learning foreign languages. What are they? Give me some examples. Yes, we'll see. What is this? China and Japan, exactly. Yes, correct. For an example, Japan, even China. So they do not encourage their children to learn English. So they are telling, Japanese, they say, if outside people want to contact with them, want to communicate with them, they need to learn Japanese language. So they are that much demanding. And we know when we import the vehicles from Japan, the modern vehicles, everything is there in Japanese language. Okay, so then it's very difficult to understand certain system displays. So we have to change it into English actually. Hari, okay, environment. Okay, that's all under this lesson. There is something that is, I will share this one. There is one thing that I need to delete this one. So, okay, let me share this. I will save it as a PDF. PDF. If something else is there, wait, I will share it. Give me a few minutes. Wait, is there under this PDF? Okay, so let me put it into your chat box. Yes, let me put it there. It's here. Okay, now check whether you got it. Did you get it?
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Sorry?
Yes,
Ari, okay, okay. Now we'll go to another topic. I think we'll be having one more day, but here. The topic is language and society. Hi, okay, so this is not a tough lesson, but as under language and linguistic, you need to know about this. Okay, language and society. Just read. Okay, we'll understand language and society are related because they cannot be separated. And at the same time, from the language, we can get an idea about the social identity of the people and also establish social relationship because language and society, they are inseparable. So from the language a person talks, we can get a clear idea about the society that he belongs to. The study of language as it relates to social structure and context is called socio-linguistic. There is a branch under linguistic, socio-linguistic. Under then, the language is studied in relation to social structure. We'll see. Okay. And in the previous slide, we discussed language and society, they are inseparable. At the same time, language and culture, they are also interrelated. So, for an example, I am telling you, Sinhalese language and Sinhalese culture, that is not two, that is one. Tamil language and Tamil culture, both are same. And then Muslim culture and the Tamil language used by Muslims, that is inseparable. So when we are learning a foreign language, actually, we can get closer to that foreign culture. Learning a language means learning a culture. Okay, is that clear to you? If you have a doubt, you can ask. I will go to the next one. Okay, social norms. So what are norms? So they are actually kind of rules. They are not written. They are not in books. They are some unspoken rules. We know that we should not do these things. And they govern our interactions. These norms, social norms, govern our interactions with others and the outside world. In the realm of conversation, they are the architects that shape the flow. In other way, we can say these social norms stand as architect and that shape the flow, tone, and meaning of our exchange. And we'll see further. See what they are. Okay. How social norms guide conversational interaction. So hope you might have read turn taking. Okay, so turn taking means when we talk actually, we talk one after the other. We adhere to specific pattern of turn taking, pauses, intonation, and body language signal when it's appropriate to speak or listen. So when we are with a crowd and when we are in a group, so then we have an idea when I should talk. And that is actually when the other person stop talking. And then we can understand whether it is a good time to talk. We can get that idea from poses, intonation, and body language. So turn taking, because we know it how to do it very nicely. We just imagine it's naturally happening. So then with imagine there are five. All the five will not talk at the same time. So very nicely they are developing the conversation. So that is due to social norms. Maybe we have heard when one is talking, we should not disturb him, just like that. Okay, turn taking. And topic selection. Okay, then societal norms dictate appropriate topics for different setting and relationship. We can't talk about anything at any time. It's not like that. So what we are talking at a wedding cannot be spoken at a funeral, just like that. We often avoid sensitive subjects in casual conversations and choose more neutral topics. So if you are talking naturally, in yes, if you are talking in a normal conversation, we always should avoid sensitive subjects. We have to avoid sensitive subjects in casual conversations. Hi, we'll go to the next. Hi, okay. Okay, we'll see. Uh, we are talking about social norms actually. Politeness and etiquette. The phrases like please, thank you, excuse me. So they are very much essential for maintaining a very healthy, harmonious interactions. These norms vary across cultures. So then we can't see all these things in all the cultures. So then The politeness and etiquette, they change according to the cultures, according to the culture actually. And then non-verbal cues, body language, facial expressions, and eye contact convey meaning and regulate conversation flow. So they are also important. So our body language, the facial expressions, they are also important for conversation. And then the power dynamics. And there are social hierarchies that affect conversational skills. Here one example is there are different expectations for conversation between friends, colleagues, and superiors. How we talk with our friends is different from how we talk to our superiors. Okay. Okay, we'll see contextual appropriateness. That means the setting, the relationship between speakers and cultural background influence language choice and conversational style. So where we are, the setting means the relationship between the speakers, whether they are friends, whether they are working partners, one is a boss, another one is an average person, okay, a servant, just like that. So relationship between speakers and cultural background influence language choice and conversational skills. And then feedback and validation. We use verbal and non-verbal cues to show we are listening and engaged. This reinforces the speaker's message and encourage continued interaction. Okay, so the feedback and validation. When we talk, we use verbal and non-verbal cues to show we are listening. And there are different ways that we convey the other person that we are listening. Okay, if it is not clear, you can ask me. Okay, examples of social norms in conversation, you might have studied them. Greeting and farewell rituals. So we have different greetings when we meet people, when we depart from people, and the farewell rituals, they are different according to cultures. These vary across cultures, but they establish initial rapport and signal the end of a conversation. So we know in some countries, whenever they meet, they hug each other. But in Sri Lanka, we say I go on like that, taking our hands together. So, okay, so then the greeting and farewell rituals are different from culture to culture. And then avoiding taboo topics. Certain subjects are considered off limit in specific social circles. Okay, so when we think about different social groups, there are certain taboos that we cannot talk openly. For an example, if I give you some examples, we know these Islam people, Muslim people, they don't eat pork. Okay, so the pork they don't eat. So talking about pork with an Islamic person is considered as something taboo actually. So avoiding taboo topics then. Okay, so then maintaining eye contacts. So that is also, it indicates engagement and respect, but excessive eye contact can be perceived as aggressive. Okay, there is a limit even in keeping eye contacts. And then respecting personal space. So cultural differences affect or else influence how close people stand during conversation. Okay, so all the people within a particular culture, they are comfortable in talking, doing conversation. But if you happen to be an outsider in a place where others were continuing a conversation, you may be just like a fish out of water. And then active listening, showing interest through verbal and non-verbal cues. Yeah. And okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay. Here, convergence. So here, the word may be anyone, but we'll understand moving communication styles closer to the partners. Okay, so when you are talking with another person, you are moving your communication talking style closer to that of the listener. And this can enhance rapport and create a sense of common ground. Okay, just imagine, I will give you one example. You are a fast speaker. So normally when you talk very fast. But when you happen to talk to a person who is having some stammering problem, who is talking very slowly, you also have to get adjusted to that person's way of talking. And then only you can create the common ground for both of you. And that is called convergence. And the other one is convergence, opposite is divergence, that is moving communication style further apart. This can emphasize differences and maintain identity. Okay, so under convergence, the one speaker is trying to be closer to the other person's way of talking. But divergence means maintaining the particular stuff unique actually. Moving communication style further apart. So then it does not make them together, bring them together. Make them apart. This can emphasize differences and maintaining identity. And if it is not clear, you can ask. Okay, some other things. Yes. Code switching. We'll understand. You all might have heard of code switching. Okay, so it's a phenomenon actually. So then that happens in societies, that is to make the communication more effective and meaningful. So do you know what code switching is? Any idea? What is code switching? You have no idea about code switching? Code switching is when we talk, we mix different languages, words actually. I can remember one of my colleagues actually in the staff. He mentioned one day when he was traveling by bus actually, he heard two teachers are discussing like this. He assumed they are teachers because they got into a bus. They got into the bus in front of a school. So one is telling, may tablets daily gattahama body ekata harmful. You just think about it. May tablets daily gattahama body ekata harmful. So there are more English words than other words actually. Okay, so this is an example for code switching. Okay, we'll see. Okay, here you can see what code switching is. When two or more languages are in use in one single conversation. So that is code switching. So that is the definition according to Oxford Dictionary. The practice of or alternating between two or more languages. Okay, see when occur. Okay, when occur. So code switching occurs when a speaker changes between two or more languages. Okay, so that is how the code switching occurs. Okay, here we'll see example. We'll see here the bilingual leaflet of Hong Kong Bank. Okay, this is a simple thing. Don't get confused with this example. Hong Kong Bank is publishing a leaflet. So in that leaflet, it's a bilingual leaflet. English is there. This Tagalog, that means Philippine language, to express their point of view. So in the same leaflet, the both languages are there. So, you know, even you might have seen in advertisement, SMS, we use both message, language words. Next. Now we'll understand reasons for code switching. Okay, one is to hide fluency or memory problems in the second language. Okay, so just to hide the fluency or memory problems in second language. So sometimes when we talk in English, we cannot remember certain words. Then we will switch into mother tongue, just like that. To mark switching from informal situations to formal situations. Okay, that means from informal situations to formal situation or formal situations to informal situation. When we change, we use code switching. To change a topic and stress that by using an appropriate code. So when we want to change the topic, we code switch. To exert control, especially between parents and children. Okay, so just to control, exert the control between parents and children. Okay, influence of Western culture to express someone's emotions. Okay, so now the world has developed a lot. Whatever the mother tongue, I don't think that people can talk without using English. So rather than taking mother tongue words, here and there, when we use English words, it's very convenient. Okay, just have an idea. Okay, here you can see, because of code switching, there are some new languages arose. Franglasis, that means French and English. Tex-Mex, Spanish English. Chinglish, Chinese and English. Japanese plus English. Singlish, English, Creole. Spanish English, German English, Bengali English, just like that. Okay, so general attitude towards code switching. So initially in the past, the code switching was considered as something totally negative. But at present, today, the practice of code switching is increasing. So then, just like in the past, today, the people will not look at negatively on code switching. So there are different types of code switching: tag switching, intraword switching, intersentential switching, intrasentential switching, just like that. Okay, so here also we'll understand the interplay between accommodation and code switching. Yeah, just read. Okay. Accommodation and code switching often work in tandem to facilitate effective communication. Okay, that means code switching and accommodation and code switching often work in tandem to facilitate effective communication. These two should work together actually. Tandem means you might have seen there is a bicycle, the two persons can ride. Okay, for example, a bilingual individual might coverage their speech style towards their interlocutor while also code switching to emphasize certain points of connect with the other person or deeper level. Okay, bilingual speaker, the person who is talking in two languages, might converge their speech style towards their interlocutor. So then they will converge their speech styles towards interlocutor while also code switching to emphasize certain points of connect with other person or deeper. Okay, so then see it. So accommodation and code switching, they go very together actually. Okay, we'll go further. Exams, you see, sometimes you may not understand what is this accommodation, what is the word even I can't remember, accommodation and code switching, yes. No, that is wrong, other side. Accommodation and code switching. Yes, here. See, and okay, we'll see examples of accommodation and code switching. A job applicant adjusting their speech to match the formal style of an interview. So that is also examples of accommodation and code switching. So when the person went for the interview, at the interview, he changes his speech to match the formal style. Another example, a teenager switching between standard English and slang, depending on the context. And then the salesperson adapting the dialect of their customers to build rapport. Okay, so that is a kind of accommodation and code switching. The seller is talking uh, in a way that the customer talks, that is to show the intimacy, the rapport. Okay, so now we'll see cultural biases. Cultural bias is the tendency to interpret information through the lens of one's own cultural framework. Okay, so when we are going to interpret information, we interpret using our own cultural framework, often leading to misunderstanding, stereotypes, and prejudice. It is crucial to recognize and challenge these biases to foster intercultural understanding and respect. Okay, so cultural biases they are unavoidable actually. Okay, we'll see examples of cultural bias in relation to specific idea, racial biases, stereotyping. Assuming certain characteristics based on race, example, all Asians are good at math. Okay, so there are some cultural biases. Okay, so this is a positive one. Just like all Asians are very clever in mathematics. Prejudice, holding negative attitudes towards individuals based on their race. And then discrimination, unfair treatment of individual based on their race. So these things are happening when we talk actually. Let's see the next one. Okay, we'll complete this. And then gender biases are there. So there are some assumptions, stereotyping actually. Women are emotional, men are strong. So gender bias statement actually. Prejudice, holding negative attitudes towards a specific gender. Okay. Discrimination, unequal treatment based on gender. Okay. Ageism. Okay, ageism means so these things affect language actually. So there are certain concepts like older people are slow learners. Okay, so that is an example for stereotyping under ageism. Prejudice, holding negative attitudes towards a particular age group. Discrimination, unfair treatment based on age. And then religious biases are there. Okay, we'll skip. They are simple things, religious biases. And then ability bias. And ability bias, the stereotyping, assuming limitations for individuals with disabilities. So we put limitations for disabled persons. Prejudice, holding negative attitudes towards people with disabilities. And discrimination, denying opportunities or accommodations to individuals with disabilities. That is discrimination. And okay, I will go back to the beginning. So these are a few examples for cultural biases. Okay, so but in our society, when we talk, when we use language, so these cultural biases are in countless ways. And then recognizing and addressing these biases is crucial for creating more inclusive and equitable society. Okay, so these I'll go to the place where we here cultural biases. Okay, so when we communicate, because language is here, okay, because when we talk, we need the language. So sometimes when we talk, we are based on cultural biases. That's what we discussed. So just like normally when we talk, we say Asians are very good at mathematics, but East Europeans, they are not. Okay, just like that. What's the time now? Okay, so I don't know, towards the end, it might be a bit tough for you. I will prepare some MCQ questions on this topic. And then we'll be meeting only for one day. I think next day only. That is what I can remember. Let me check. So when you join the lecture next Tuesday, 26th, you have to come with all the difficulty. If you have questions, we will verify it. I have only one lesson to be completed. It's a small one. So we will be revising everything. I believe up to now I have shared the slides except this one. Am I correct?
Yes, madam.
Yes. Shall I share this one also? Because whether you got it, language and society. Did you get it?
Yes, madam.
Harry, okay. So go through everything we did. We have one more topic. I will be covering it next week. And in addition to that, I am ready to discuss your problems, issues, and I thought of doing some past papers also. Okay, with this, shall we wind up the session for today?
Okay, madam.
Okay, then good night and have a nice time.
Good night, madam.
Okay, good night. Have a nice day.